Hello. Oh, let's get some light going. One sec. Swap back for just a moment. Go for desktop. Sec. It should be a little bit better, hopefully. There we are. See my ghastly visage. Rightio. Welcome. Let's switch over to Shotgun. Yeah, welcome. It is pretty hot today, so I don't plan on streaming for too long because I am boiling. But yeah, kind of wanted to look at some orchestral stuff again, and I'm not gonna waste any time. Welcome to all you VOD watchers. Yeah, I'm just gonna get stuck straight in. This should sound a little bit familiar from the other day. I'll go straight in here. Playing about with some new elements. You can see I've got the some dual cam action going on. Bit of piano down there. And yeah, I want to try and make this as entertaining as possible, where possible. But let me just very quickly do some. I don't know why this is on this screen, so one sec. Seems to be going the wrong way around. Cubase, not Cubase, my system sometimes likes to switch the order of monitors and such. I shan't keep you waiting too long. And then, yeah, so we're going to be looking at some orchestral stuff. Don't plan on sticking on the same track for too long. And then, depending on the time, we'll look at maybe some synth stuff as well. Talk a little bit about just all things music, really, how we get there, and yeah, all that kind of fun stuff. So, apologies, we should now have the screen back. Let's jump straight in. There we are. I will, where possible, try and move these things out of the way. I'll try and make them a little bit opaque if needed as well. Right, let's get stuck in. Here's a track I was working on last time. Just going to play it through fully. Now, this is in the normal key. And it just develops and evolves. What I wanted to do is then transpose the entire thing into a separate key. So I'll look at the intro as well over here. Kind of do some changing on this. Reset all the transposers and stuff, and it should then be pretty continuous all the way through. Yeah, all sorts of stuff going on there. We'll look at that in a moment. And then let's see. There's some stuff down here that's transposed, some of it's not. Got a little bit carried away on the last session, so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because I've listened to this track for quite a bit, I'm going to grab the entire thing, grab all of the notes, and nudge it down 2 steps. Like that. Oh, I just did an oopsie. That looks... There we go. Right, let's do listen through again. I'm going to do a little bit of a balance pass. I do this every time I open my projects up. And as you can hear, some stuff has not moved. Try again. That's better. And that's where he's up to. Lots of things happening there. I need to do a little bit of a mix on that. So I'm just going to add some extra tracks. And what I'm going to do, I need to lower every single bit of volume except for the reverbs and stuff. Actually, you know what? I could probably do the full thing. So what I'm going to do is grab every single track like this. This includes the inputs. I'm going to Q-link it, which will then, I almost said clink. Q-link it, which basically means these are all then linked to each other. And I'm going to bring the whole thing down by about 6 dB. So if this is minus 9.6, let's do one that's pretty straightforward. So this one's minus 0, change that to minus 6. And the whole thing shunts down. Sorry, it's a bit too loud. Yeah, the whole thing's just shunted down. So what that means is, let me just check something on the compressor there. Yeah, so what that means then is I've now got a bit more headroom on my group tracks over here, hopefully. So I just needed the stack stuff to go a bit higher. Well, that should hopefully now give me that headroom I needed. I was going to say, I hate how ugly those look. Try again. A little bit quiet now. Bring the stereo out. Oh, just for you guys. Please let me know if the volume's too low. Sounds great. I kind of feel like I need a bit more volume though. Check the levels. That's better. There we are. So, lots of things going on there. I want to add a lot more oomph to it. And the secret to that is percussion. Lots of percussion. Now, there's already some percussion lines in here, which are very tactically hidden away. So let's listen to what's going on here with the bass. get the piano as well, because the piano is kind of my go-to sketch instrument normally. So I'll always try and keep the piano going where I can. Love that. It's such a basic little like riff. Oh, right, so we've got a damage. Right, so that's Armageddon. And this is damage kit. Need to make sure they're all labeled properly. What I'm going to then oh my god, words. Sorry, it's been a very long day. For those who don't know, I work from 7:45 up until about 4 o'clock. Finish from 4 o'clock and then come home to do some streaming. So do bear with if I'm kind of all over the place one day, because yeah, between that and my oh my god, between that and my neurodivergence, it's quite a lot to deal with at times. So what I want to do is add some orchestral percussion. So I'm going to add about, well, I'll show you how this works. So I've got BBC Professional, obviously. Most people will know this already. Untuned percussion. And then within this, here's all then the articulations. So I've got bass drum 2, cymbals, etc. I'm going to make a couple of versions of this. So BBC bass drum. Group that up. I'll do some grouping and stuff in a bit. BBC cymbals. It's missing like rolls and swells and other things that I need. So BBC that. This one can then be PRT. And then that could be the snares. And I may end up making more versions of this, so I might have like a like rolls and a tam tam, tenor drum, this triangles. Triangles are great, by the way. Just saying, people really meme on a triangle, but triangles are a very important part of a orchestral ensemble. Genuinely. Okay, so group track to selected. Change this then to BBC Perk. Now got a lovely little channel. Keep that somewhat organized. So all of these things now will output to that track. That's my piano. Hopefully that's in stereo for you. So I need to see what the ranges are on this drum kit here. So it's got a C3. That's the first hit. Right, so I'm going to... Okay, there's my first hits. Cymbals. Same type of thing. So, all of this stuff that was going on over here was good. I just need to do more of it and kind of make it a little bit more structured. So, I'm going to break it down section by section. So, here's snare. So, these should be the same line. Looks like they are. Okay, so nothing really interesting going on with that. It's just a snare drum. Yeah, Pretty basic, right? What's a heavy snare then doing? That's like a low end snare, isn't it? Sounds a bit machine gunny, that. Alright. So between the three, okay, a lot going on. So it's just studio drummer, that. Alright. Studio drummer's pretty decent. If you've got Contact, it comes with it. Oh, okay. The studio drum kit is here. And yet I've got a damage kit down here as well. Oh, but it's slightly different. Of course it is. So I've got 3 different drum kits here, which are all related. So how on earth are you supposed to mix that? The answer is very difficult. So let's try again. Okay. So let's try and replace some of those snare hits with the orchestral snare. Should give us the power after. Should being the important word. Just need to make sure though that they're mapped to the same keys. So wow. So that's obviously an octave higher. See what that sounds like? Very different. I mean, I could probably get rid of 3 snares there. Very different sound. That's the problem though. They sound different. Is it better? Or is it just different? Sorry, it's really loud. I'm gonna bring those. Just gonna probably mute the track whilst I do that. Bear with. So I'm gonna grab all of those notes, which are those, and bring them in line with the other snare hit. Should be here. They should now all be standard snare hits. Okay, sounds a bit more like a normal snare. The other thing that's happening there, though, is there's a lot of reverb on it, and I mean a lot. So there's tightness, there's reverb, there's direction. Bring the tightness down. And I'm going to close mic this. So let's see what that looks like. I feel like the gate's being a bit weird as well. One sec. Okay, just try this out. Sorry if the audio sounds a little bit different. I'm just experimenting with each stream that I do. Okay, let's try this. Bit of kind of programming stuff that needs doing there. Just fine. I'll look at that in a moment. So these in general need to come down a touch. Now, is there some type of secondary hit built into this? I've not used it enough, so let's have a look. So there's 2 variations. One's on C, one's on D. So that should help getting away from this like machine gunny sound that I've got. So if I've got rapid hits, what I can do is just do something like that. It should hopefully sound a bit more natural. That's slightly off key or off beat. Because it was in triplet mode, that'll be well. Sounds better already. Okay, so I will look at the actual note programming and like velocities in a little moment, but I just want to get it sounding somewhat realistic first. Okay, so it sounds better. I just now need to really sort these velocities out. So what I could do is crunch it all down so it sounds a little bit less up and down. It's got a bit, but okay, I mean that works much better. So I've kind of compressed the MIDI almost in terms of its scale, because what tends to happen with some of these orchestral, well, just in samples in general, is let's flick over to Waffle Cam. So with samples, the way they work is, you know, you've got this software that is literally saying, okay, you've pressed a C note. I'm going to read that C note and play it against something that sits kind of behind. All right. Now, the thing that sits behind it is this software that will read it and say, okay, well, you've hit C. I'm going to now play a snare hit and do all these kind of like complex things with it. So it's going to make like, it's going to play multiple layers of it so that if you play it really quickly, you get these, what they call round robins. It's very, very complex. I don't really want to spend too much time on it, but yeah, it's all complex stuff. With some plugins, the way the samples hit, so for one C like this, I'd say C, one hit, probably better playing that on keyboard. Hear that velocity? Yeah. It's not always a straight line, and sometimes it's more like you get to here and then suddenly it's like an exponential curve, basically. So sometimes it's like the velocity is like, it could be 60, the MIDI value is 60, and then at 61 it plays a higher volume sample. So you need to be careful sometimes. Just a quirk of these types of software and stuff. So what I'm going to do now is play the same thing. We're going to keep the orchestral snare, but I'm going to then mix in like a rock, like hard rock snare, and just have the two rather than have about 12. All right, so mute all these off. Just had an idea there listening to that. This needs a big roll. So, sorry, let's go back to full cam. Apologies, full screen rather. So, how do I get a roll? Well, if you look at this PRT, and then if I click through, could do a combination of articulation styles there. Let's check then the main symbol. Crash, roll, crescendo. That's exactly what I'm after, is that. So that was B3. So what I'll do, B3, play that. That's a B3 note. And then after the end of that, play that. Yeah. So ends far too quickly, that, so you can extend it. Yeah. next thing I'm going to say is, okay, well, what about the timing on this? So what you could do is if you go to edit, I've got loads of hotkeys for this, I'm trying to avoid using them. If you go to edit, render in place, what you could potentially do instead, if you're having issues with timing and stuff, just read the waveform. So basically what I'm after is these two flowing into each other in a really lovely way. So guess what you could do is you could just actually turn your grid off, have them roll into each other like this. A little bit of a crossfade. And then actually lower the volume of this. Don't know why it's not letting me do it within track here. But you can lower the volume of this. Likewise, if you need that to kind of be longer, you could time warp it. There's a couple of different things you could do. Just trying to think, what do I actually want to do? Okay, I'm going to stick to MIDI land. Just wanted to show you how you could really dial it in. So sorry, my system's being a bit slow. It's going to crash. Save it. Yeah, I have no idea what's doing that. So, if you're not wanting to render audio for whatever reason, oh, come on, man. This does not want to work. Make sure I've not got anything else going on the other screen. Nope. Yeah, it's fully crashing. Nice. I hate it when it does this. It's worth noting, this is a brand new system, so it's not anything to do with my system. It's just the fact that I'm streaming and all sorts of other stuff, probably. I'll give it a minute, or else I can waffle and talk nonsense. But yeah, so fundamentally, I could, instead of rendering to audio, there's a couple of reasons why you might want to render to audio versus, use MIDI. But if I render it to audio, you've got much greater control in general. But not everyone likes to do that, whether it's because you've got limited hard drive space and you don't want to be rendering loads of stuff. There's loads of reasons why people don't render audio, but I'm going to just Control-Alt-Delete this. Absolute bullshit. Apologies. Absolutely winds me up something rotten. So yes, safe mode my arse. Okay. And what I'll do instead is rather than the MIDI, the difference with offsetting the MIDI rather than the audio though, is with the audio I could time warp it. I can't really time warp MIDI. So it's why people tend to just render in place and do it that way. But I'll show you both ways, because if you are trying to really nail something, it'd be good to show both ways of doing it rather than kind of sticking into one. So whilst that does its thing, thank you, I know all about that. I might play a little bit of piano. Think. And eventually it will. I do this little warm up. I don't know why the camera's going weird, sorry. I do this little warm up where I will just play scale. Well, I don't even play scales, I play chords. But I will do. And I try and do that as quick as I can. With as much cleanness as possible. The beauty of doing that, I'll kind of move up the scale now. It gets me used to kind of moving fluidly up and down the keyboard. once I've done that a few times, I'll then do the same thing, but I'll kind of go backwards in a circle of fifths. And I kind of do all this, and it just gets me used to kind of jumping up and down, and then finally, same thing, but I'll then do inversions. So I'll kind of, inversions I struggle with, not gonna lie, but, and I'll, you know, same type of thing. I mean, my project's now loaded, which means I don't need to now sit here and do all that, which is magic. So I will go back into this mode, and let's get cracking. So I don't even think I don't think I'd. It was here, wasn't it? So let's listen to this closely with the bass and the kick. Wherever the bass is. Yeah, so volume's one thing. You can control that MIDI land, yeah, using the velocity here. So right at the bottom, I can just bring the velocity down. So it's, instead of 100, 77. Yes, it's much easier to do it in audio land, but some people want to know both ways. Yeah, so that's where we're up to. So what needs to happen with this crash? Well, it just needs to start a little bit later. So I'm just going to do it. Keep it quantized. It's pretty close, that. I'm going to keep it like that, yeah. And then I just need to look at doing something like that, maybe. Might shimmy that away. No, don't like that. Bit lower. Okay, let's listen to the full thing. I think that will work as a kind of placeholder, but yeah, I think rendering it to audio is the way to go, to be honest. Sorry, get rid of the click. If it wants to turn off. Sorry. Sounds nice, but it's far too much like bowing and stuff going on there. So I'll look at that in a sec as well. Keyboard's having a murr, as you can see, it's hitting F3 a lot. It'll do, I think. Yeah, let's carry on. So, big bass drum hits is what we're looking for. I think it was C2-ish, yeah. They're like the proper, these are the big hits we need. I think if we do that, that's going to really give it some power. Some other weird things happening there. Do you hear that in the background? I think I put it in the wrong location, so it's doing like a strange sound effect instead. Far too loud. Yeah, I think even if I make that really quiet, so this is a rendering in place job, isn't it? So again, edit, render in place. And what I can do instead is just trim that. Wow, that was like magic, that. And then crossfade that in a little bit more like that. Yeah. What happens then, though? It instantly stops, doesn't it? So, how do we fix that, do you think? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward once you know how. So, re-enable that. Just make it longer. Make the actual MIDI part longer, like this. And then when you render it, what it does is it renders the segments. See, look, there's all the release on that now. So my watch is flashing at me. So if I do the same thing again, there we go. And if I wanted to, I could obviously lower the volume as well. Now, what it really misses is an actual big hit at the end. It just kind of goes into this wobbly mess. So. Something like that. Just the one hit, not the two. And what I could do again, I could render that to audio, couldn't I? So edit, render in place. And if it goes on too long in this case, which for me it does, take the quantizing off and then just do that. So I'm artificially altering the release of that now. Yeah. What I could also do is try and fix it at source level. Sorry, I'll mute that. Try and fix it at source level if possible, and actually change the mix so that it's maybe a bit of a closer mix. See what that sounds like. Absolutely bloody awful. Okay, so this is the beauty of having the professional version. I can do a combination of some mics maybe, so a close one. Mix 2 rather than mix 1. Sounds a bit phasey, doesn't it? So I'm going to assume that's reverb. Of course there is. Just turn the reverb down, you bloody fool. That's better. Close on that as well. probably do a combination of the two mixes. I think that will do. Little bit less reverb. And then basically what I want to do, just so that doesn't sound as awful as it did there, is probably replicate. Oops. Same thing, so I'm going to use some hotkeys here just to save a little bit of time. Get that on there. Quantize it up. That's pretty fast there, isn't it? So that should be. And that. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Need to do, or look at rather, the same thing for that long bit. Which was, I can't remember what note it was. That wasn't it. So again, I'm going to have that same issue. Oops. Make it longer. Get rid of, well, I'll keep it for now because I might not like the, I might prefer the reverb. Oh, gosh, put my teeth in. Might prefer the reverbed version. So same type of thing. Versus. Yeah, definitely prefer the less reverb version. Because the beauty is, right, I can always put reverb on it if I really want to. The source audio that has got reverb on it. So, like, if I ever want to take that reverb off, I can't. I've got to re-record it, basically. So, yeah, I'll just roll with that, I think. Okay, let's listen to the bit before it then. What else can we add in here? Sorry, I appreciate that piano is pretty loud. Let's bring it down a touch. Okay, that works quite nicely. Just need some actual big bass drum hits in there now, so like in between that, right? Can't do like proper orchestral bass drum following that because it's just going to be too much. So do I instead need to look at the tenor? So what's a tenor? Bass drum 2. I think not, you know. It does the rolls very well, but then it just loses all that texture. So yeah, we'll fix that. God, I'm struggling here. How do I mean, I could just get a really great drum kit sound and then just make it do all the work. What I'd have to do though is piece together all these lines. Something like this. Doesn't like that, does it? Apologies. Do a quick mix on this. Different EQ makes. Just gonna go for that, you know. So, need to turn that loop off. Okay, need to mute some of these other drum bits as well. So turn all of them off and just have. Okay, what's this kit doing then? Okay, so the kick's to stay. Happy with that. See, I really like that bit, but the rest of it sounds a bit bleh. I just need it to sound like that all the time. Oh man. Okay. I'm a little bit stuck with this, not gonna lie. I've narrowed it down to 3 elements compared to all that shit that was up there previously. I keep the Armageddon kit and this kit because these are kind of like, they're almost buddied with the bass drum a little bit. So let's try that. There's a line in here that's not being used that needs to come out and go probably on the studio kit. so much going on there. Now, that drum roll, I wrote that myself. I'm certain I did. It was so long ago. And I remember writing it, I was like, oh my god, that's awesome. Let's triple it up. But on its own, it doesn't actually sound that good. But it's a combination of elements. So let's replicate that on the BBC bass drum. I need to make sure the same notes are, the notes are actually triggering. Okay. There's something I just love about that. I really do. What is that even playing, actually? Oh, it's just an A flat minor thing. Interesting. No wonder I like it. A flat is one of my favourites. Well, I say A flat. Yeah, A flat or G sharp. Right, if these two are going to play the same bits, I may as well just buddy them up. So that's a damaged kit, and that's it. Let's try if we can just do with one rather than both. Alright, let's try the other one. I think it's going to be this one that does the oomph. Love that bit so much. Like, what have I done there? Like, it's just it's the way the woodwinds come in, like doing the little upper bits, and it's, to be honest, I want more of it, but I could just develop and develop and develop that entire section. What I'm going to actually do is No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it. But I have to listen to it again, I'm sorry. Big orchestral hit needed there. Yeah. Somewhere. It's got a trigger eventually. Damn. What is going on there? It's kind of in between beats. I'm mindful of the time, like that time has just disappeared. Trim it over a touch. And it's those little subtle rolls. Obviously not there, that would need to go much later. Probably more. Something more like that. That sounded much better. And it's only when you kind of get into the detail does it all like start adding up. So anyway, lots of stuff to do there. I'm going to save that there and actually then jump onto another wonderful sounding track because time is of the essence. So while this loads, I'm just going to be right back for 2 minutes and then, yeah, hopefully it loads before then. But yeah, as soon as it's loaded, I'll be back in. Right, whilst this is loading, it's doing some stuff on the other screen for whatever reason. So yeah, I don't know why the camera's gone a bit weird. One sec. That's very exciting, isn't it? Try again. Because it's trying to follow me out the room. There we are. So let's see if this auto tracking thing will work again. Oh, absolutely not. One sec. Normally, I know it is absolutely ridiculous looking, but normally you give it a little bit of a nudge and it will start auto tracking. But here we're so good. I will zoom it in and we'll get rocking and rolling. Cool. So it's almost unloading. But yeah, for anyone watching doesn't know kind of the story of this one, I started writing this one many moons ago. For some reason in my brain, I cannot release music. It's just, I think because it means so much to me and I get so emotional about music and all these other things. It's so difficult. And the whole reason I'm doing this is to actually one day just hit that publish button, you know. So yeah, listen to this. I'm going to go from the start. And I'll break it down. Lots of things in this one, as you can see. Get the volume up a bit for you. That's it. Such a good section. and then it's supposed to do something epic, which it doesn't. But there's so many things of that. The only thing that's letting it down at the moment is some percussion and snare bits, which I can fix. We can still fix it. But it's such a... I mean, the whole song is like supposed to be some dude like lay on a beach, looking up at the sky and just wondering like what's out there type of thing. And then it's this visual like cinematic. This is kind of how it played in my head at the time. This visual cinematic thing of, you know, like they're picturing all these different wonderful things that could be happening, and then it cuts to obviously like this rocket ship flying off and going exploring space and doing all sorts of like mad stuff. And don't get me wrong, there's lots of things that aren't quite right with it, and I'll never get it quite right is the problem. But yeah, this section here just... And you know what makes it even worse or better, depends what type of person you are, is I have transposed this song into probably every single key you can imagine. I need to be careful how I do this because it sounds a bit wild if I don't do it properly. So if I transpose it, I think I did about 2 steps last time. Oh. This was the original key. Just, oh man, it's so good. Honestly, like, this, me writing this song and producing it, so, fun story. Sorry, I really don't mean to get into it so much, but so one of the things with this track, though, is I'd lost the entire track from a hard disk failure. So I was like, oh my God, I've just lost like the best piece of music I've written. And I rewrote the entire thing from scratch. And it was only upon like it being almost like burned down and destroyed did it kind of come back in such glorious fashion. And it was it's a bit of a turning point for me then, because I was like, I started using these templates because I was like, well, you know, I need to do an entire album. So I started building templates, and I'm like, this was really like the big moment for me changing how I started writing and stuff and being really creative. I mean, there's not just complex musical elements in there. I mean, just if I grab the melody stuff there, you know, there's only 2 layers of things there, but I've still got so much to do with it because I want to split. You know, there's 8 different instruments playing the same octaves there, and there's no reason why I can't just... You know, if I glue all this together on these sections here, like that. Oops. I have no idea why it didn't glue properly. Sorry. Would help if you could see what I was doing. But, like, there's no reason why... Yeah, let's grab that entire section. I have no idea why... Something's transposed in there, obviously. But I can literally spread that across an entire orchestra and make it sound like a million times more majestic. And that's kind of like the plan. But just goes a bit flat. Man, it's so good. Okay, let's actually do some composing, or at least, yeah, it is composing. So I'm going to have to undo all that fine transposing, but if you ever get stuck when you're composing a piece of music for a long time, I have no idea why it's not transposing. Maybe it's not transposed anymore. If you ever get stuck, I promise you, just shift the key of your entire song. Like, yeah, this is a prime example of why I need to go through and study what on earth is going on here. I mean, there's a lot going on there, obviously. So, just look at this top four, right? Right, so that top instrument's going to try and do some like quick orchestrating rather than just make sure we've not got lanes. No. Okay, so trumpet or horns, French horns. Sounds great at that octave, okay? What I could do though, yeah, see the whole thing is written an octave lower. Wrote, Christ. Meanwhile, this thing, how fantastic does that sound, right? So let's keep that. This is Crow Hill Marshall Brass, by the way. Massive fan. The two together. Alright, so let's listen then to some of this other horn stuff. Shock, it's the same key. That's a strange one. Ah, it's because it's not quite fitting. That's lovely. So I could do some like kind of counter melody stuff here. To be honest, I probably should, but I want to simplify the lines because if I'm going to do a lot more with them, rather than them just being duplicates, I want to make them kind of talk to each other. Call and response. If you're not sure what call and response is, it's this idea that you do a phrase, and then the other ear. It's this kind of like lovely talking, like back and forth motion. Okay, so let's study this lot together. This is the brass. I'm going to make some subgroups here. We all know how much I love subgroups. Right, so that's brass melody. Should help with the mixing this as well. Brass melody. I've not got a massive amount of time left, so I will try and keep this as efficient as possible. But I'm going to put these a separate colour. I'm going to make them greeny colour whilst I do my my magic on it. Because I'm actually, oh god, those are two different colours. I swear I'm colourblind. Okay, So I'm gonna look then at. I want to make that do more. So it's really holding the line, isn't it? Okay, a little bit messy there. So, how do I fix that, you might ask? Well, there just needs to be a bit more breathing going on. It's pretty much at full whack in terms of the expression. So if you think of how a breath works, you literally will in and then you speak normally. So I kind of need to, when the notes, you need to breathe in between each note, basically, is the essence of it. So, and then it kind of like creep up and then go down again. Now, it doesn't have to go down massively, but that's all. It just needs this really finesse. And then all this, I have no idea what's going on there, but that just needs to then slowly decrease. Because you're breathing in, doing your lovely line, and then you kind of start running out of breath. I say that, most professional players will not run out of breath that quickly, but still, like, the concept is there as an idea. Yeah. And then. Okay, so are they both playing the same octave? Because if they are, they are. That's magical. So what I can do, C4 down to C3, C4, and then that stays the same. So what I could do is actually copy these three notes. At least the automation. And then same thing again. From here. And load it all an octave. See which one sounds worse. Okay, still a bit too long on the horns. Whilst I'm speaking of horns, I didn't look at this section here. That's awful. That is really awful. What? Because it can't play octaves. Of course it can't, you silly sausage. Why would it be able to play octaves? Okay, what about that one then? That's better. Right, one final playthrough and then I'll have to go. Here we go then. It's so good, isn't it? Right, and on that note, I will have to go. So thanks for watching. Whoever watches the VODs, please comment, say hello. I'm not shy. But yeah, it's good to know kind of feedback. What's entertaining, what's not. If you just kind of sitting watching on TV and stuff, that's fine. Appreciate that. That's probably why you're not commenting. But yeah, really do hope you enjoy the videos. If you do enjoy them, obviously do all the cringy YouTube stuff of liking, subscribing, all that stuff. Because genuinely, like, otherwise it doesn't mean anything. So, all right, have a lovely rest of your day, wherever you are, and see you all later.